Yes. Yeah. So what is not bhakti? It is not a matter of sentimental speculation or imaginative ecstasy, right? Bhakti Prabhupada tells that it is practical. It is practical activity and it is meant to be cultivated. So in the purport, Prabhupada tells that bhakti is not a matter of sentimental speculation or imaginative ecstasy, nor it is idle meditation, right? Prabhupada always stressed that his devotees should be thoroughly engaged throughout the day, right? Prabhupada never liked that his devotees chant throughout the day like Haridas Thakur. Prabhupada never liked it. Prabhupada always wanted that his devotees, right? Prabhupada always mentioned that minimum 16 rounds and you can chant whenever you get time. But Prabhupada always wanted that his devotees very nicely engaged, be busy in Krishna consciousness, because since we have anarthas and since we have our own conditionings, we will not be able to throughout the day, right, 24 hours chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Therefore, Prabhupada has given us practical engagements also in devotional service. Therefore, and also, bhakti is not karma, jnana, and dhyana, right? Bhakti is pure devotional service. So, therefore, it is not a matter of sentimental speculation or imaginative ecstasy, neither it is idle meditation, right? So, idle meditation is meant for those without information and devotional service because it comes below. If you study the Bhagavad Gita in the sixth chapter, the different ladders of yoga, that is karma, jnana, ashtanga, right? These are all mentioned, right? So, because bhakti is highest and we have got the highest process, therefore, this dhyana, idle meditation, dhyana, karma, jnana, all this come below devotional service. Therefore, those who don't have information about devotional service, they engage in dhyana, karma, and jnana. And now we have got information. So much information is given to us about devotional service. So why we should go to lower levels of the ladder of that is ladder of yoga. So even if one performs idle meditation, okay. Yeah. So even if one performs idle meditation, what it does, it only helps us in checking it only checks our distracted our mind from going on to materialistic activities, right? So therefore, devotional service not only checks our mind for going into material activities, rather it helps us to go towards Krishna more and more, right?
Hare
So
Krishna, Prabhu.
we'll go to the purport now. Yes. Yes. Somebody can read this. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna
Devotional
Prabhuji
service
Namaskar.
is not a matter of sentimental speculation or imaginative ecstasy. Its substance is practical activity. Srila Rupa Goswami, in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.1.11, has defined devotional service as follows. Anyavilasita shunyam jnanakarmadhyanaputam anukulyena krishnanushelanam bhakti uttama Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila 19.167. Uttama Bhakti or unalloyed devotion unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, involves the rendering of devotional service in a way that is favorable to the Lord. This devotional service should be free from any extraneous motive and devoid of fruitive karma, impersonal jnana, and all other selfish desires. Bhakti is a short thought of cultivation. As soon as we say cultivation, we must refer to activity. Cultivation of spirituality does not mean sitting down idly for meditation, as some pseudo yogis teach. Such idle meditation may be good for those who have no information of devotional service, and for this reason, it is sometimes recommended as a way to check distracting materialistic activities. Meditation means stopping all nonsensical activities, at least for the time being. Devotional service, however, not only puts an end to all nonsensical mundane activities, but also engages one in a meaningful devotional activities. To
Yes, correct.
Prahlad,
So Prabhupada is clearly mentioning here that devotional service, however, not only puts an end to all nonsensical mundane activities, but also engages one in meaningful devotional activities. So in this starting of this particular purport, so we can see what is bhakti and what is not bhakti. Bhakti is basically a sort of cultivation, and cultivation must refer to activity. We can never imitate Srila Haridas Thakur, or we can never imitate great exalted souls who can continuously chant the holy names. We need to engage in some practical service to the Lord and his devotees. Then only gradually, when our heart and mind gets cleansed, then we will be able to sit and for long hours either do kirtan or chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So therefore, initially at least, we should engage in some practical service. Yes, to continue.
to Prahlad Maharaj recommends Ravana Kirtana Vishnu Smarana Pada Sevanam Archana Vandanam Dasyam
Dasyam Sakyam Atmani.
Sakyam Atma Nivedanam. The nine
Yes.
processes of devotional service are as follows. Number one, hearing the names and glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Number two, chanting his glories. Number three, remembering the Lord. Number four, serving the Lord's feet. Number five, worshipping the deity. Number six, offering obeisances unto the Lord. Number seven, acting as the Lord's servant. Eight, making friends with the Lord. Nine, surrendering oneself fully to the Lord.
Yes. So these are the nine processes of devotional service. We can note this down. We can remember. You can also try to memorize this sloka, very important sloka, because this is the heart of bhakti. These nine processes, 7523, which Prahlad Maharaj says. Prabhupada's one of the biggest purports, one of the second biggest purports in Prabhupada's Srimad Bhagavatam. First one is the 1.1.1, the first sloka of the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. And this is one of the next biggest purports. You can go through it whenever you get time. Very nicely Prabhupada has explained all these things: Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atma Nivedanam. So these are the nine principles of devotional service, or nine limbs of devotional service processes. Yes, Prabhuji, continue.
Pravanam, or reading, is the first step in acquiring transcendental knowledge. One should not give oral reception to unauthorized persons, but should approach the proper person as recommended in Bhagavad Gita 4.34. Tad vidhi pranipate pariprishnan sevaya upadakshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarsanam. Strive to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master, inquire from him submissively, and render service unto him. The self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because he has seen the truth.
Yes, so
It is
this
further
particular
recommended.
Oh, 1 minute. So this particular purport of this particular verse is very, very important in the for a devotee who is just trying to practice devotional service, right? So Prabhupada tells in his lectures also, and in the purport of this verse also, that we should not approach Guru in a challenging spirit, right? What is the mood while we are approaching Guru? We approach him very submissively, right? Approach the spiritual master, inquire from him submissively, not challengingly. And after inquiries, what should be there? There should be rendering of service, right? As soon as we inquire and all our doubts are cleared, immediately we should ask our spiritual master, how can I serve you? How can I serve you? Right? So always Prabhupada always had this question: how can I serve my spiritual master? How can I serve my spiritual master? Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur had given two instructions to Srila Prabhupada: whenever you get money, print books and preach in English language, because you are an intelligent young man. Preach in the English language to the Western audience, right? So these are the two instructions that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada had given to our dear Srila Prabhupada, and Prabhupada expanded these two instructions, and he started two organizations. One is ISKCON, to preach in the English language, and Bhaktivedanta Book Trust, to basically print the books one instruction was to print books whenever he gets money. So therefore, Prabhupada started these two institutions or two organizations, right? So as soon as our doubts are cleared, we inquire from spiritual master. Our doubts are clear. Our only question should be, how can I serve you, spiritual master? How can I serve you, my spiritual master? So this is how. And when the spiritual master is pleased, what happens? The self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because he has seen the truth. Because they are tattvadarshis, if they are pleased, they can impart this jnana and vigyan both. Therefore, our only goal in our life should be to please our spiritual master, right? Yeah, somebody else can continue reading.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji, please read.
It is further recommended in Mundaka Upanishad. Tadvijnanartham sa guru eva bhi gachet. To understand that transcendental science, one must approach a bona fide spiritual master. Thus, this method of submissively receiving transcendental confidential knowledge is not merely based on mental speculation. In this regard, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Rupa Goswami, Brahmanda Brahmite kono bhagyavan jiva, Guru Krishna prasade paye bhakti lata bija.
Yes, Mataji, 1 minute. Here, if you see Prabhupada while telling this particular verse, Tad Vijnanatam Sagurum Eva Vigachet, Prabhupada explains that one must, right? It's not an option whether we can approach spiritual master or not. One must. Prabhupada always stresses on this point in his lectures that there is no option that, okay, without a spiritual master, I can advance in Krishna consciousness or something like that. One must approach a bona fide spiritual master and submissively hear from him and serve him. Yes, Mataji, continue.
Yes. In this course of traversing the universe creation of Brahma, some fortunate soul may receive the seed of Bhakti Lata, the creeper of devotional service. This is all by the grace of Guru and Krishna. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 19.151. The material world is place of confinement for the living entities who are by nature Anandamaya, pleasure seeking. They actually want to be free from confinement of this world of conditional happiness, but not knowing the process of liberation. They are bound to transmigrate from one species of life to another and from one planet to another. In this way, the living entities are wandering throughout the material universe. When by good fortune one comes in contact with the pure devotee and hears from him patiently, one begins to follow the path of devotional service. Such an opportunity is offered to a person who is sincere. In International Society for Krishna Consciousness is giving such a chance to humanity at large. If by fortune one takes advantage of this opportunity to engage in devotional service, the path of liberation immediately opens.
Yes. So here we should understand that we are all these sincere souls that we were looking, or somehow or other in the previous life we have performed some devotional activities or bhakti-onmukha sukruti or served some devotees, right? Sadhus. Therefore, accidentally we never desired in this life to come to Krishna consciousness, but accidentally we have come because of our past bhakti-onmukha sukruti, right? Some bhakti we have done, some sadhu we have served, right? Therefore, we have got, after going through millions of species alive, Brahmanda, Brahmite Kona Bhagyavan Jeev. So we are all those fortunate souls. We have got Guru Krishna Prasade, right? We have, by the mercy of Guru and Krishna, we have got this Bhakti Lata Beej, right? Therefore, then what we should do, our responsibility is that we should now cultivate this. Creeper or Bhakti Lata Beej that is given. We should cultivate this Krishna consciousness, right? Yes. So now this International Society for Krishna Consciousness is giving such a chance to humanity at large. So one of the questions there was that where we can perform bhakti, this association of devotees that Srila Prabhupada has made, this organization, International Society for Krishna Consciousness, this is where we can perform bhakti. Yes. Somebody else can continue.
One should accept this opportunity to return home back to Godhead very enthusiastically. Without enthusiasm, one cannot be successful. Even in material world, one has to be a very enthusiastic in his particular field of activity in order to become successful. A student, businessman, artist, or anyone else who wants success in his line must be enthusiastic. Similarly, one has to be very enthusiastic in devotional service. Enthusiasm means action, but action for whom? The answer is that one should always act for Krishna. Krishnarde Akhila Cheshta. In
Yeah.
order to attain the
Mataji, just we will go back to the PPT. So here Prabhupada started explaining about enthusiasm, right? So because we have got this opportunity to perform Krishna consciousness, now we should be very enthusiastic to return home back to Godhead, right? So we'll go to the PPT, we'll just see there, and we'll come back. Yes, it is already discussed. Yes. So this is the first principle, Utsahan, right? So the Prabhupada in the further paragraphs will explain what is the definition of Utsaha, right? So if this question comes, what is Utsahat, right? So this is what you should mention its answer. What is that? Endeavor executed with intelligence and Krishna consciousness. This is the definition of Utsahan, right? Utsahan means we endeavor, right? But we just don't endeavor blindly, right? We also have to use our intelligence, right? If somebody tells us to do something in Krishna consciousness, right, we should do it, but we have to also use our intelligence to check whether that will help me in Krishna consciousness or that will not help me. Then this intelligence, from where it comes, this intelligence, we should not use our mundane intelligence. This intelligence will come from Shravanam, that is either by reading Prabhupada books, right? By reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and also by hearing lectures of Prabhupada, of our spiritual master, of devotees whom we get inspired from, right? Therefore, endeavor executed with intelligence in Krishna consciousness, right? So this is what is Utsaha. So why we should be enthusiastic? We should be enthusiastic to become successful, to return home back to Godhead, right? So basically, to return back home back to Godhead, we should be enthusiastic, right? So enthusiasm is must for one who wants success in any act. So wherever one may be, consider that even outside karmis or whoever is outside working in factories, in big companies, right? They are also very enthusiastic, even though actually they don't get proper result, even though they work so much hard, right? It's like it's just what they get. They work so hard, but they get very little out of that. But still, they are so enthusiastic. And here, if we endeavor little, right? Swalpam api yasya dharmasya trayate mahato vayat, right? Krishna is telling that even if one endeavors little bit, even if one advances little in Krishna consciousness, trayate mahato vayat, he will be saved from greatest of great dangers, right? So how much enthusiastic we should be, right? We have been given such a great goal, that is we are given the Yugala Nama, we are given that is Yugala Bhakti, that is Bhakti of Radha and Krishna, which is the topmost, right, in the spiritual world, right? How much we should be enthusiastic to perform devotional service. Therefore, Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur mentions in his books that he mentions that we should take inspiration from outside karmis, how they are working so hard, how they are enthusiastically working very hard to what is that, for eating, sleeping, mating, depending, right? For such very insignificant goals in their life, for money, for all this eating, sleeping, mating, depending, right? So if they are so enthusiastic, how much we should take inspiration from them for the highest goal that we are getting, right? So so everybody is enthusiastic. Therefore, we should be very enthusiastic to return home back to Godhead. And what are the principles behind enthusiasm? Enthusiasm means action, right? I cannot tell that I sleep in the morning and tell that I am enthusiasm or I am enthusiastic, right? Enthusiasm means it will be seen by your activities. How much you are eager to chant, how much you are eager to hear, how much you are eager to serve Krishna, right? So if somebody is very eager, it means he is very enthusiastic. Once one of the disciples of Prabhupada asked Prabhupada that, Prabhupada, I am not feeling enthusiastic, right? So what should I do? And Prabhupada tells that you should act enthusiastically, even though your mind may tell, oh, this is boring, oh, isse kuch milne wala nahi hai. But still, one should act enthusiastically. And Prabhupada tells that if you act enthusiastically, you will become enthusiast, right? You will become enthusiastic, right? Therefore, enthusiasm is the life of a devotee, right? And now enthusiasm for whom? For what? Enthusiasm to always act for Krishna. That is Krishna Artha Akila Chesta. Whatever I do in my Krishna consciousness, it should be to please Krishna, please my spiritual master, right? And how we should perform the devotional service enthusiastically under the direction of spiritual master. Whatever we do in our devotional service, whatever we do in bhakti, it should always be under the direction of the spiritual master, right? And what is the goal? What is the purpose of being to attain perfection in bhakti yoga, right? To attain perfection in bhakti yoga. And we need not narrow. Bhakti is very broad. So therefore, Prabhupada also tells that we can engage anyone and anything in Krishna's service. Therefore, we need not confine or narrow one's activity. Oh, this is only devotional service, or this is only devotional service. This is not devotional service, right? Everyone and everything can be engaged in Krishna's service. That is what is called as Yukta Vairagya, which will come little later. This is called as Yukta Vairagya, engaging everything in Krishna's service. So why we should engage everything in Krishna service? Because Krishna himself is telling in Bhagavad Gita 9.4, what is that? Maya tatam idam sarvad jagat avyakta murtina matstani sarva bhutani na chaham teshu avastita. Krishna is telling that everything is my energy and I am pervading everywhere, right? So since everything is Krishna's energy, so everything should be engaged in Krishna's service, right? So understanding this, that Krishna is everywhere, Krishna is all pervasive, everything is Krishna's energy, so we should act accordingly and engage everything in Krishna's service. Yes, so since everything is Krishna's energy, therefore we should engage everything, we should dovetail everything in his service. Prabhupada in the purport gives example of dictaphone. Prabhupada tells that the person who manufactured dictaphone had never thought that it can be used for spiritual activities. But Prabhupada is saying that now we are using this dictaphone in Krishna's service, right? So just like Prabhupada used dictaphone, Prabhupada used these hippies, right? Hippies, the government thought that these hippies are good for nothing, but those hippies only Prabhupada made them into pure devotees and engaged them to preach all over the world, right? So this is what is an example of Yukta Vairagya or Prabhupada's enthusiasm. By Prabhupada's enthusiasm, hippies got enthusiasm and they performed devotional service, right? So therefore, whatever is there in this creation, everything can be engaged in Krishna service. Matstani sarvabhutani. Everything is depending on my energy. Since nothing is independent of Lord Krishna's energy, everything should be dovetailed in his service, right? So only thing is what we should do, we should find the correct means by which everything can be utilized in the service of the Lord. Correct means that we should take guidance. Under the guidance of a spiritual master, what we should do, we can utilize everything in the service of the Lord. So this is what is Yukta Vairagya, that is using everything in Krishna's service. Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe Yukta Vairagyam Uchyate. Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe means we should understand what is its relationship. Everything in this material world has a relationship with Krishna. We should not disconnect it from Krishna. So this process is called as Yukta Vairagya. So therefore, as Prabhupada mentioned earlier also, the execution of bhakti is not a matter of idle meditation, but practical action in the foreground of spiritual life, right? And Prabhupada further now, after Utsaha comes patience, therefore Prabhupada is connecting. But these activities must be executed with dhairya, with patience. Yes. Yes. So somebody can read this purport on Utsahat.
One should accept this opportunity to return home back to Godhead very enthusiastically. Without enthusiasm, one cannot be successful. Even in the material world, one has to be very enthusiastic in his particular field of activity in order to become successful. A student, businessman, artist, or anyone else who wants success in his life must be enthusiastic. Similarly, one has to be very enthusiastic in devotional service. Enthusiasm means action, but action for whom? The answer is that one should always act for Krishna. Krishnarde Akila Cheshta. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila 22.1-6. In order to attain perfection in Bhakti Yoga, one has to perform devotional activities under the direction of spiritual master in all phases of life. It is not that one has to confine or narrow one's activities. Krishna is all pervading. Therefore, nothing is independent of Krishna, as Krishna himself states in Bhagavad Gita 9.4. Maya tatamidam sarvam jagad avyaktamurti namastani sarvabhutani nachaham teshavastita. By me, in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. Under the direction of the bona fide spiritual master, one has to make everything favorable for Krishna's service. For example, at present we are using a dictaphone. The materialist who invented this machine intended it for businessmen or writers of mundane subject matters. He certainly never thought of using the dictaphone in God's service, but we are using this dictaphone to write Krishna conscious literature. Of course, the manufacture of the dictaphone is wholly within the energy of Krishna. All the parts of the instrument, including the electronic function, are made from different combinations and interactions of the 5 basic types of material energy, namely Bhumi, Jala, Agni, Vayu, and Akasha. The inventor used his brain to make this complicated machine, and his brain, as well as the ingredients, was supplied by Krishna. According to the statement of Krishna, Matstani Sarvabhutani, Bhagavad Gita 9.4, everything is depending on my energy. Thus, the devotee can understand that since nothing is independent of Krishna's energy, everything should be dovetailed in his service.
Yes, so this point is very important. Since nothing is independent of Krishna's energy, so therefore everything should be dovetailed in his service. Right? Continue, Mataji.
Endeavor executed with intelligence in Krishna consciousness, it's called utsaha or enthusiasm. The devotees
this is the definition of enthusiasm. You can mark this, right? Endeavor executed with intelligence in Krishna consciousness called utsaha or enthusiasm. Yes, Mataji, continue.
The devotees find the correct means by which everything can be utilized in the service of Lord. Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe Yukta Vairagyam Uchate. The execution of devotional service is not a matter of idle meditation, but is practical action in the foreground of spiritual life. These activities.
Yeah, this is the second. The Utsaha Nishayat and Dhairyat, patience and Nishayat will continue further. So we'll go back to the slides. Yeah, so therefore enthusiasm is very important. We can see that mind always wants us to take us down, because as long as we are in the modes of passion and ignorance, which this material world is, most of the material world is in modes of passion and ignorance, right? And since we are also in the material world, most of the times will be in passion and ignorance. And when we are in passion and ignorance, the mind will never be enthusiastic for performing devotional service. But we should force our mind, we should pull our mind, right, to be enthusiastic, right? So the mind will always want us to take down, but since we have been given free will, we have been given independence, right? So what we should do, we should understand that I cannot be under mind's control. I have been given intelligence. I have the energy to basically pull my mind up, right? So understanding this, I have to act enthusiastically. His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj tells in one of the lectures that the mind may scream that I don't want to chant this Hare Krishna Mahamantra. This is very boring. I don't want to go to temple, right? This is very boring. I don't want to hear these classes. This is very boring. But one has to be enthusiastic. And if we are enthusiastic to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, enthusiastic to do Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Swaranam, then slowly, what we will see that as the mind gets purified, what will happen is the mind will also want to perform this devotional service, right? Just like a small child, right? Consider that you want to give him medicine, right? So initially, since the medicine is bitter, he doesn't want to take. But if he becomes little bigger, then you need not have to force him. He will understand that I have fever. If I have to cure this fever, if I want to go out and play, if I have to go to school, then I have to cure this fever. So as soon as a medicine is given to him, he will immediately take it. So similarly, mind is like a small child, right? So it will always tell you no for devotional service, right? So therefore, we should slowly feed this process of devotional service, understanding that this is very important for me. I am diseased. My heart has many diseases: kama, krodha, moha, madamatsara, right? So therefore, if I don't take this medicine of chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, going to temple, associating with devotees, attending Srimad Bhagavatam class, getting up early in the morning, chanting in Brahma Muhurta, so what will happen? My disease will increase, right? My disease will increase. Already the disease is very high, fever is very high, right? And if the disease increases, I may die also, right? So therefore, understanding that this is a need, this is very much a very important and urgent need, that I take this medicine of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, take this medicine of Krishna Katha, right? So understanding the importance, we should feed this medicine to our mind. Mind may scream, mind may yell, but understanding its importance, we should feed this. We may not feel enthusiastic,